Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And today we have 3 great stories to tell. So I hope for your likes, and let's get started with our first story. I don't work there anymore. Figure it out for yourself or call a store with a competent manager. Once upon a time, way back in days of yore, I was a young lad seeking my first legitimate employment after high school. Seeing as how I had only just recently turned 17, early graduate by 2 years, and lived in a rural area, a lot of options were closed to me. Sure, I could work under the table like I'd always done before, but it was time to start working a real job. So I hopped in my hand-me-down vehicle, drove 40 minutes into town, and started putting in job applications. One of the places I applied to was an arcade. For those of you born after 1995, this was an establishment where you found video games, skee-ball, and games of skill and chance, which you could play for a fee. An example can be seen on Season 2 of Stranger Things. I was hired at the arcade by a manager who was about to leave his role as manager to take a better-paying job working in a parts manufacturing plant, who trained his replacement to take over for him. Cool. Except, right after he leaves, replacement gets arrested for simple possession, ends up losing his job as well. No store manager. Area manager comes in, sees our staff as basically me, a young woman who consistently shows up late and does the bare minimum, and a stoner friend of our former replacement manager. After what happened with him, the area manager decided he needed to replace the manager with someone else and bring us up to full staff. 6 or 7 people, basically. But in the interim, he'll fill in for the manager duties. But he needs someone to handle the daily manager duties because he can't be responsible for a bunch of different stores and corporate stuff. Long story short, I get a crash course in managerial training with what I even then knew was a laughable excuse for a pay raise and compensation, no real authority or position in exchange for a bunch of responsibility. Time passes. His first candidate to take over the store is a train wreck. He gets a replacement manager by promoting the fully trained assistant store manager, hereafter ASM, of another store on the condition that they get a replacement. Cue my transfer. New store has a kick-ass manager. She promotes the younger sister of her former ASM to be her new ASM. Didn't bother me. The company had a policy against letting people under 18 take management roles. And I didn't want it anyway. After my experience, I was looking forward to less stress and responsibility. New store manager leaves the store when her husband, Air Force, gets transferred to a new duty station. ASM is now store manager. Doesn't name a new ASM. ASM dislikes me. I spend months working there. I sell a birthday party package, something the company wants us to do as much as possible, but that hadn't been done at that store in the entire time ASM had been working there, and apparently no one but me, because we did it all the time at the other store, knew how to do it. One morning before opening, I'm going through the opening procedures. When ASM and area manager are there, things come to a head. Area manager is in there because the store's losing money. ASM accuses me of stealing from the store. I turn to area manager and give my 2 verbal weeks notice on the spot. Say that I'm not a thief and refuse to work with someone like ASM after they've accused me of it. Fast forward, 2 weeks and 1 day, the day of the birthday party, that I'm the only one at the store who knows our procedures for. I get a call asking if I can come in and work it. I don't work there, remember? Well, can you at least tell us how we're supposed to do this? Try calling another store, one with a competent manager, for advice. I'm not obligated to help you since I don't work there anymore. She started to raise her voice, but I hung up and didn't answer her callback. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect this many responses. Since tone doesn't carry well over the internet, and the fact that I was being mildly facetious when I acted as if no one born after 1995 knows what an arcade is, I would like to make clear that was meant to be tongue-in-cheek, making fun of the whole only 90s kids shtick rather than taking a jab at younger people. Unfortunately, the internet doesn't always convey tone well, so it seems that it wasn't clear, so I apologize. I am aware arcades still exist, though I will say it's my impression more rural ones seem to have died out, mostly in the wake of consoles, and that younger people know what they are. Hell, I've lived in Japan, where they still have multiple story arcades. As for the timeline, I don't want to get too specific because identifying information and everything, but I was born during the middle of the Reagan administration and was 17 when this happened. Home consoles were already a thing, though gaming wasn't mainstream yet the way it is now. And at least in my rural area, 56K was still the standard unless you were wealthy. For those pointing out theft equals losing money, you're correct. Our machines had counters to report the number of tokens that passed through them, and that would be compared to the number of tokens that had been sold by the coin exchange every week at collection by the management. I did it at the previous store. The numbers never matched for several reasons, but they were not expected to. I found out months later from a former coworker it was theft. I just had absolutely nothing to do with it, the discovery, or any of the fallout. By that time, I was getting ready to start college. Technically, I work here, but this story might not be your typical I don't work here, but it's fun nonetheless. Happened 3 to 5 months ago. I work in my own company, which is in a way like a very expensive Home Depot. I get a lot of wealthy customers whom are usually very polite, apart from some who are downright entitled. One day I was walking through my shop, which I visit only when asked to by managers or other questions regarding work. I do not sell, as my appearance doesn't immediately make people more inclined to buy. I'm in full business attire, casually strolling through the shop, when I hear a lady in her mid-20s call out, "Hey you, I came to the shop, bring me a coffee." She will be referred to as E, meaning entitled. Well, obviously, I turned around because I don't let anybody treat my staff with disrespect. I look at the lady and reply, "First of all, good day. Second, unfortunately, we are not a restaurant or a coffee shop. We do not serve coffee, but if you would like some, I can recommend a fantastic place." So I turned around and was about to leave, but the lady had a different idea. E. "I am," important person's name's, "wife. How dare you treat me like this? I will call my husband." In my country, the biggest threat is not the manager. It's the husband, brother, father, mother, anyone really. So obviously I asked her to go ahead. She called her husband, saying, "This petty butthole, this bum just insulted me. He said I'm a B-word and that I'm this and that, etc. Come deal with this." Quite frankly, I was pretty happy she called him. The man had bought some stuff from my shop on credit and owed me money. I had a pretty big grin on my face, which egged her on. She rampaged through the shop complaining to all my staff about this insufferable servant, me. The staff was kind of laughing, but remained professional, so I decided to sit down and wait. After 5 minutes, the guy walks into the shop. You know the walk of someone who's about to tear crap up? Yeah, he walks in and greets me. Husband, "Oh, hey man, I brought money in so I can pay you for my order, blah, 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 blah." His wife is confused a bit, but still pretty determined. She stomps over to where her husband is and continues, "This animal treated me like trash. He insulted me and my status." And to her husband, "You should call the owner to get him fired." The husband is shocked. He's a regular customer and got married recently. I mean, that man was standing there going from pale white to bright red in the face. I would give up a lot of money to know what was his thought process. Suddenly, he gracefully and shamefully at the same time turns to his wife and utters just one word. "Car." She responds, but he... Now. The man turned to me and said, "I'm so sorry that just happened. I will talk to her and explain how to properly treat people," and he offered me a chekona, which is like a big table full of food in honor of me. I declined. He paid and left, and in about 2 hours, she came into the shop with the husband's mother and apologized to everyone. Since then, she's been a good customer, and I enjoy her and her husband's company. Still laugh about it, though. Oh crap, my grip slipped. Some background. I'm in my 40s and former military. I now work with adults 18 plus with mental or physical disabilities. One of the common parts of my job is escorting clients to the gym who want to work out and try to keep their weight down. A big problem for far too many. In some cases, I just need to be there, while in other cases, I need to be within arm's reach of the client at all times just in case. The company I work for has a contract for gym use with a local hospital with a positive health program, so almost anyone can get a membership at their gym and get help monitoring weight or whatever, like a lot of big-time gyms. From this point on, the story unfolds quickly. On the day in question, I was there with 2 clients, one who's independent and the other who I have to stay within 5 to 10 feet of. We were lifting free weights, and I was changing the weights over his for a lighter load as Karen approaches. Now, I'm in black shorts, standard for gym staff, and I'm wearing an old gray Army t-shirt with Army across the front in big black letters. Standard issue Army PT shirt. The staff wears gray shirts, but theirs have the hospital's bright, colorful logo over the heart. Nothing else. As I said, this unfolded quickly. Karen comes storming up to me. "Excuse me, I have an appointment and I need you to find my trainer." Me. "Sorry, miss, I don't work here." Karen. "Don't give me that crap. You're clearly helping him." Me. "Yeah, miss, I'm his personal staff from another company. We're merely utilizing a membership here, just like you." Karen, don't give me that crap. At this point, my client started making a noise he makes when he's getting frustrated or scared, and her rising voice could easily do that to him, so I turned my head to look at and talk to him. Don't you ignore me! Pow! She actually slapped me in the face, catching me in the nose as I turned to look at my client hard enough to snap my face around to be looking in almost the opposite direction, from looking over my right shoulder to almost looking over my left. Important point here. I'd been holding a 45-pound weight in front of me in both hands, and with the shock of the slap, yep, as per the title, my grip slipped. There was no bouncy boing of a weight dropping on the rubber floor mats either, just a sickening crunch. I didn't feel anything, which worried me, until I saw the look of not being able to breathe on her face. It had landed just across the base of her toes on top of her bright red polished gym shoes. My guy starts laughing his butt off. I move him aside, leaving her there and calling for a nurse that there had been an accident, but it was not needed. There were a half dozen medical staff, including 2 doctors in the gym at the same time, so I just walked my guy away to minimize his stimulus and let them handle it. Keeping it short, several bones in her foot were broken. She wanted me fired, and then when learning I didn't work there, she wanted to sue me and the hospital/gym. I did indeed file charges for assault, and she not only lost grounds for her lawsuit, but lost her membership because she assaulted another client and got handed a hefty hospital bill for her foot. Hope you all enjoyed. I'm just glad to be in the clear that there were so many witnesses. My guy still retells this story every chance he gets. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.